tosses out an assist. He tosses out his own assist while he summons Piccolo Orb to protect Piccolo. And now there's 2 orbs coming out. Ki Blast showering the whole screen. Another orb coming. Broly assist coming. So much stuff that Apology Man's going to have to do something. He's going to have to super dash at some point. How do you get out of this? He hard tags. And you can't hard tag against Super Broly because he has upper body, invincible, reactable super dash options, you know? Hey there, Super Baby 2 comes out super soon, and he is a neutral monster. I am completely serious when I say that. I do not know if there is another character in the game with neutral comparable to his. You can talk about Broly, you can talk about Vegito, Janemba, characters that have amazing projectiles, amazingly big normals. I don't know if anyone actually compares to Super Baby 2's neutral, and that's what I want to talk about today. Before we get into this, I just want to say that all of the footage is from the official Bandai Dragon Ball FighterZ show. I think everyone involved did an absolutely amazing job putting this on. Everyone from Damascus and Tyrant to Apology Man and Jonathan Tene, who also were labbing the characters and showing us all the things that they think they can do. Obviously, the character is going to develop far beyond just what we saw on the show, but they did such a good job getting everyone, including myself, excited about the character that I'm here to actually be able to talk about the character in depth a little bit more and even show you examples of this character's amazing strength in neutral and some of his other strengths as well. So amazing job to everyone involved. If this video just gets you a little bit excited about Super Baby and you want to see more, I highly, highly, highly recommend checking out the full VOD because there's so much more information than just what I'm going to talk about here. I'm here to give you some of my own input and hopefully be able to kind of package some of the information that I think fits really well together to make the point that his neutral is amazing and it's something you should get excited about. Not to say that the other aspects of his gameplay aren't also super good, but his neutral stands out to me so much, and I want to talk about why that's so good even for things like his offense. Because when you have really good offense, it doesn't matter if you can't get started. Having good neutral is what lets you get started. Neutral, neutral, neutral. I'm going to say that so much in this video, but having good neutral means you get more turns. You get in more often, which means you get more chances to press your offense. What's better, a character with 80% amazing offense who can get in 3 times as often as a character who has 100% amazing offense but only gets in 1/3 as often? Which one of those characters do you think is better? Depending on who I'm fighting, most of the time I'm probably going to say the character with better neutral but still pretty good offense is actually the better pick. If your offense is so weak that you can't open up the other person, that's a whole different thing. But I think I've rambled about neutral a little too much already. What we're going to do is get into some of his tools really quickly before we go into a match showing off all of these tools. So I'm just going to really quickly put myself up here because I want to pretend I was on the show. They did an amazing job with it. I'm excited just to pretend to be a part of it. So what we have here is I've recorded a handful of clips from earlier in the show before they actually got to that match, because I want to give you context for what some of these things are and why they're such a big deal. So the first thing I want to really quickly mention here is that his mix-up is probably a little below average in some regards, at least in the traditional sense. His 2L, his crouching light, is actually an 11 frame normal, although the second one, because you can chain 2 together, is a little quicker. But the first one, the 11 frame one, is the one that you'd be mixing up with, which means that his high-low mix-up is going to be a little weaker than some other characters that you're probably used to who have probably 8 frame crouching lights. This is a big deal for probably minimizing how effective his mix-up actually is, but it's for the best. If this character had a normal crouch light that was like 8 frame startup or 7 frame startup, he would be broken. I'm completely honest. I can tell you that right now. This character would be too good if he had that. So thank goodness he doesn't. This is still better than some characters though, like obviously Hit, who's got like a 25 frame crouch medium as his fastest low. So we're getting the negative out of the way right here with that. Also, I promise after we get through the first few things regarding his pressure, we are going to only be talking about the neutral tools after that, although most of his tools are neutral tools, so we will go through a majority of what he has. His pressure in general doesn't necessarily strike me as bad. I think it's probably actually really good, and it'll become more apparent as we get on with the video. But it feels like it's upside down, and immediately you'll know what I mean when I show you that his 5L, his standing light, is 6 frame startup, which is good. That's good. We want a 6 frame normal, but it's -8 on block, and they'll show that right here. -8 on block. That is that is ridiculous. -8 on block. But here's the thing. They did show that his second hit of his auto combo is actually safe on block. His crouch light is safe on block. But here's the thing. His mediums are actually super big, by the way. This is his standing medium. They're going to show it right here. That standing medium is so big, and it's only -1 on block. +2 on hit. I mean, obviously, you'll just combo on hit by canceling into the next attack. But on block, only -1. That's crazy to me. Most characters don't have an attack that's -1 at all. Everyone has a, universal overhead that's 0 on block, which is really good. -1 on block means that the other person can't react to you stopping your pressure and then mashing. They have to guess. So if you cancel into your standing medium, his 5M, and you want to reset pressure back into his standing light, his 5L, they have to guess to mash there. And if they have a 7 frame, they're actually going to clash or trade with you, which isn't nearly as good as just beating you, even if they were right. So this is super, super good. It just feels backwards or upside down to a lot of other characters where you would normally use your light attack and reset pressure after your light. He's going to use his medium and reset pressure after his medium. And he has other tools as well on offense that stand out as well, like his Ki Blast, which end up setting up all sorts of crazy stuff. We'll talk about that later on. Oh, and by the way, the reason we're talking about pressure before we actually talk about the neutral is because a really good way to improve or find a game plan for the characters that you're trying to play is to work backwards. Look at the goal, and the goal is to get in and mix up your opponent, and then you work back from there. It's like, okay, here's where I want to be. Here are my options when I get there. Then you go one step back. Okay, how do I get there? How do I win a scramble, or how do I win a neutral situation and lock them down and get into that situation? And that's just generally a really good thing to do when you're learning a character. So that's why we're starting there, and then we'll work back from that point. All right, so the next thing we want to talk about real fast is his jump medium. It's basically Android 16's jump M, which is amazing. That means that he has really good left-right mix-up. You can be point blank against the opponent, and this IAD-M is going to reach. This is super, super good for mix-up. If you've ever gotten hit by Android 16 or Android 21 or TN's cross-up instant air dash M, you know how good this is. And when you have a really good cross-up, that means that you have a really good same-side super dash as well, because they're going to have to be looking for that cross-up. Or they're going to try and anti-air you as a guest because they don't want to deal with that mix-up, and that means you get to stagger and blow them up for trying to 2H you, and you get to play that whole mind game. Okay, now we're starting to move into his actual unique neutral tools. This is his forward heavy. You can see all of their inputs on the left side of the screen. If you're ever worried about what the input for something is and you want to know before you get the character, they have it all shown on the left side of the screen. One of the things I really like that they did in this showcase, so that you can see exactly what they're doing. They have all the information there too, so you can see the startup, you can see the frame advantage. I really love these showcases, and in fact, part of my reason for making this video and being excited about it is just because I really want to shill for these showcases. I want Bandai to do more of these. These are amazing showcases. I haven't seen another company do this for DLC characters, do this for updates for the game. I'm so happy that they're doing this. Please, Bandai, please give us more. I want this for Gogeta when we get the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta character, when he's about to come out. Please do this again. Please, please, please. So this is Super Baby's 6H, his forward heavy, and it kind of looks like Jiren's Ki Blast, doesn't it? Or kind of like Ultra Instinct Goku's Ki Blast. Thrust his palm out there. Seems like it's really easy to convert on hit or block. They said that you could actually jail this into Vanish, but it's a little bit hard to do that, so you're commonly going to get reflected when you go to Vanish here. This seems like a pretty good neutral tool, but it seems like a really big risk. Apparently, he does all of these Ki Blast follow-ups, even when it whiffs. That's what I believe they said during the showcase, which seems like a pretty big risk. So if you jump over it, you're probably going to be able to blow him up, although he can probably Vanish because it is a normal. You don't actually see this move in the match we're going to review at the second half of this video, like, at all, because this is actually like his worst neutral tool. They all get better from here. The other tools he has eclipse this so much that we just straight up don't see it. So that should say something about what we're going to get into. Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff. His air Ki Blast is ridiculous. This is the best air Ki Blast in the game, probably. I can't think of a better one than this. Let's be perfectly honest. If I'm being honest, I can't think of a better one than this. So these air Ki Blasts go down at a really good angle, and what they're trying to show here is that when they don't hit the opponent, they loop back around off screen and connect with the opponent. And you can see it comes back like a meteor and just tracks them and locks them down, which is super, super good. They were also talking about how his Ki Blasts are slightly higher priority than most Ki Blasts in the game. I can't wait to test that out if that's actually true, but this Ki Blast is amazing. Another really good thing about it, they mention, is that it goes along the ground. So once it hits the ground, instead of just disappearing, it's gonna swoop across the ground all the way off the screen. So you don't even have to be super precise with it. And if it misses, it's gonna loop back around and lock the opponent down. And this is just so, so, so good. Later on in the video, we're actually gonna see this just basically beating Broly in neutral. Broly. And here you can see that if it hits the ground, it's just going to travel along the ground, as we mentioned. And what they're trying to also show at this point in the Dragon Ball FighterZ show, in the showcase, is that if it goes under the opponent, like if they're jumping around a lot, these Ki Blasts are still good, even if they miss, because they're going to track back around and help lock the opponent down. And this is going to force situations where the opponent feels like they have to super dash, where they have to do something to get around these Ki Blasts because they're basically tracking to them. But we're also going to cover why that's so risky for the opponent in a little bit. But it's not just his air Ki Blasts that have this benefit. Also, on the ground, he can do forward Ki Blast, and the same thing's going to happen. So he launches it past the opponent, and this one's different. Even if it makes contact with the opponent, it's still going to come back a second later. And it sucks the opponent out of the corner. So you can imagine what you can do on offense with this. You can imagine the combos you're going to get with this. This is super, super, super cool. Really good. And this is one of those things that we're talking about where even though his pressure feels weird, even though it feels kind of upside down, it's still probably really good pressure. And it's just going to take us a while to really figure it out. So he's one of those characters that's actually going to have left-right mix-up in the corner because he's going to be able to, on his own, vacuum the opponent out in a way where he's plus. And you'll also see in the matches later on, they will use this forward Ki Blast, which isn't a special, which means you can special cancel it. They will use this, and then they will use a special attack and lock the opponent down more. And then after that special attack, the Ki Blast is going to come back and make sure that Baby ends up being plus and can maybe do something interesting in that situation. Hopefully we're not going through these too slowly. I know we probably are. I know you guys want to get to the match, but I'm just so excited talking about all this stuff. This character seems absolutely amazing. Now we're going to cover the fact that he does have a beam. Look at this. So he's got a beam. It's a little slow compared to some characters, especially someone like Gotenks who's got a super fast beam. But he's got a beam. It's really high. It's a little bit off the ground. I don't know if some short characters are going to be able to duck it or not, but he does have a beam. And another thing we have seen in some of the footage later on, in the showcase later on, they show that you can have Ki Blasts coming back from off screen, lock them down with a beam, and then make the beam safe or plus on block because of that Ki Blast coming back from off screen a second later. So at this point, we already have high priority Ki Blasts that also track if they miss the opponent and can vacuum the opponent out of the corner, and he has a beam. And we're not done yet. We're not done yet. Oh my god. Next, we have Acid Rain. So if you hit down back Ki Blast, it will shower where Super Baby is. If you hit down Ki Blast, it'll go mid-screen. If you hit forward down Ki Blast, it'll go full screen and shower them down there. And these hit really, really, really high. So if people are super jumping around a lot, this seems like a really good tool to get around that. This is one of those things that I saw, like Apology Man was talking about on the showcase. There's a lot of information that I can't cover here or that they go way more in depth on there. So again, I'm going to shield that again. Please watch the full showcase. But this is an amazing tool for stopping jumpers. You can lock someone down and force them down to the ground with this most likely, or force them to super dash. You're forcing a situation where they have to take a risk or risk blocking you immediately afterwards. And they were also talking about how good this is potentially as knockdown Oki. So what you can do is you end your combo, you knock the opponent down, you shoot up this Acid Rain, and it comes down a second later on top of you. You can basically make sure you can cover the opponent's wake-up options that way. These are going to be Ki Blast property, but if the only option the opponent really has to get away from it is to super dash, you can still punish that super dash pretty easily just by chasing them down yourself. You can probably react to them up-teching into super dash and just jab them or something. And another thing you can do is actually launch these off-screen, so if they think they can just reflect them for free, they're going to miss and you can punish the reflect. There's so much room to develop offense with this character. It's nuts. I love this this idea of a tool. It's super, super cool. Okay, now this is one of my favorite tools that he has. You guys know how good Yamcha's EX spinning move is, right? He has this meterlessly. It is upper body invincible, so it's invincible to airborne attacks. I don't know if it's frame 1 or if it's like frame 4, but this is invincible to airborne attacks. And he tosses out Ki Blast when it's over. So it's Yamcha's EX spinning move, EX Mixer, let's just call it EX Mixer. And then he also tosses out Ki Blasts that are going to lock the opponent down and force them to challenge, reflect, super dash, or something right afterwards. This is useful for corner loops. I'm not going to get into combos with him because I don't have the character, but in the showcase later on, they also did show a lot of combos. So again, check out the showcase for more, but this move is nuts. This move is absolutely crazy. And it's all about context. The reason this move is so crazy is because everything we've talked about so far, I keep coming back to the fact that the opponent is forced to do something. They're forced to super dash or risk just having to get locked down. And this is an anti-super dash tool. It's one of the easiest ones to use in the whole game. You can just vanish or use an assist to convert it, or if you don't, it's still gonna knock the opponent down and force them to deal with these Ki Blasts that are coming back from off screen. This is absolutely amazing. This is like a step above reversal, like Dragon Punches. Something like Cooler or Vegeta having a DP that they can use in the air. This is like that, but one step better, in my opinion. All right, next, we also have a dive kick. I don't know if this is an overhead. My guess is it's not. But the really good thing about this is that it's always going to sliding knockdown, and you can combo into this on every combo. So if this dive kick is always able to sliding knockdown, that is a really big deal for neutral. I know that seems like a combo tool, and it kind of is. But the reason I want to talk about it regarding neutral is that we don't want to just talk about whether you can hit the opponent or not. We want to talk about what your reward is for hitting them too. So part of having good neutral is what you get when you do a good thing. He has a lot of good things, but what does he get? And it turns out he always gets a sliding knockdown, which is really, really good. Which means that his super dashes and his options are going to be more rewarding as a result. And if he's going to be an anchor or maybe a mid and he might not always have an assist available, he can still get good reward for the good things he does in neutral. And that is so, so important. Okay, now we were just talking about anti-air options. He has another one. He actually has an anti-air grab. So if you have played Vegito or you have played Android 16, you have that. These are actually invincible to upper body attacks. These will punish, vanish. The EX1 is frame 1 upper body invincible. So you can react to bad vanishes with this. If someone, cancels something into vanish and it's not a true block string, this is going to be a punish. And you can chase people down who are jumping around a lot, who maybe don't want to be on the ground because you're just barraging them with projectiles and you have such good options on the ground. So his neutral gets better. And it does this cool animation when it does get the hit. Okay, now here's the last thing we're going to talk about, and this is the thing that most people were talking about before the character even came out. The fact that he can steal his opponent's assists. Now, what does that necessarily mean? Whatever the most recent character is to have been KO'd on the opponent's team is the character that he can use the assist of, and he can choose whether he wants the A assist, the B assist, or the C assist. So this is his down, light, or medium, or heavy. The light version summons the A assist. We can see Vegeta's A assist here. The B version is going to summon his B assist right away. And you can see how quickly he can do this one after another. If you were just going to toss out Vegeta assist in neutral as he's like your character, he's your anchor, and you're tossing out his assist, you're going to have to wait 8 seconds every time you do it. With Baby, you can do it over and over and over again. And the EX1 only costs half a bar. So EX assists, you can dump one after another over and over and over again while the opponent is worried about projectiles and while they're worried about doing things. And you can just lock people down with that or confirm hits with that. This is amazing. Think about the craziest assists you have in the game and think about being able to dump them over and over again. I think some of them that are really fast and maybe don't lock the opponent down for long aren't really going to be the things you're going for, but I have to imagine we're going to be using the EX version of this, the C assist version of this, a lot, and characters that have really, really dumb neutral assists, like maybe GT Goku's Beam, Piccolo, or maybe Android 16's B assist, where he gets to launch Ki Blasts twice. Things like that we're going to be tossing out all the time. And this is actually one of the reasons why they were talking on the stream about him potentially being better as a mid or an anchor than a point character. Even though they think he's a good point character, he might be better as a mid or an anchor just because his neutral, which is already so oppressive, becomes even more oppressive once you've been able to KO at least one character from the opponent. All right, so now we're moving into an actual match here. And again, they were covering this live on the show, so they have their own input for this match as it's going on. Obviously, they were talking about their takes on the situations that were happening in this match. Look at this amazing intro, by the way. This character is super sick. I love his intro, and I love his outro. When he wins a match, it's so, so sick. So this match is between Apology Man and Jonathan Tene. Hopefully I'm not mispronouncing that. I'm sorry if I am. On the left, we have Apology Man there with Piccolo and Tien. On the right, you have 21 and Broly with Jonathan. They were playing these two characters on point because they're learning the character. As we mentioned earlier, they probably feel that he'd probably fit better as a mid or an anchor. Now, everything we've talked about so far, please think about that throughout this match. Look at the options they're using in neutral. Look at how good these key blasts are. Look at how good these neutral tools are. Because this is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. So they start out being a little bit safe, but immediately Jonathan's tossing out key blasts. Immediately Apology Man is tossing out key blasts. And they just have to deal with it because they're traveling along the ground. It's almost better if there's actually so much stuff polluting the screen right now. It is hard to keep track of what's going on. I'm going to back up immediately here. Because look at this. Key blast down. Orbs coming. He's shooting these upwards. He probably did down forward key blast. It's going to lock down Jonathan here. And then air key blast tries to dive behind it, doesn't quite get the confirm. Dodon Ray finally gets a hit. There's so much going on because this character can pollute the screen so well. I don't know if there's a character that's actually fit the term zoner in this game as well as Super Baby does yet. This is what Frieza wants to be. Already tosses out that 6S, and you can see, like, even this situation where he ends his block string early. Look at this. Oh, and he got a side switch with it. Amazing block from Jonathan there, by the way. So he ends his block string early. He tosses out his forward key blast, his 6S, and he just ends his turn. He's fine with going back to neutral. And you see up here, Jonathan has to now block in the air too, because it tracks up to his height. So even when you end your turn, it is going to instantly change the dynamic afterwards. All right, more neutral. These key blasts are locking him down. Assists are locking him down. Dodon Ray. All right, one more time. There's just so much stuff going on here. I can't actually keep track. I'm forgetting who's who. I'm pretty sure Jonathan's the one defending here once again. And he super dashes. Look at this. So he super dashes. He recognizes that he got the happy birthday because he won the scramble with the Piccolo orb assist here. And that's something that's super cool here. He sparks immediately so that he can kill the assist character. Get the happy birthday combo. If you learn your happy birthday combos, this is going to be really good. But what's cool here is it looks like this mixer sucks the characters together so that you can get an easy happy birthday. I don't know for sure, but moves like this tend to sandwich assist characters that are stuck in the happy birthday or the double sundae, whatever you want to call it, together so you can get a really easy, consistent combo afterwards. And this combo is so, so, so sick. I really want to point out that this is something, this is a really good lesson, I believe. So Jonathan Tene and Apology Man are amazing players, right? Jonathan Tene won the West Coast finals for the whole Dragon Ball Tour thing that they did this year. He won the West Coast. Apology Man was part of that as well. Look at the kind of things that they focus on when they learn a new character. A lot of people just play the character, they try to learn combos or something, and yeah, you could say he just learned a combo, but most people who are experienced fighting game players who want to improve really quickly, they make a checklist of things that they think they need in order to improve super fast. Maybe they play a few games and realize, oh, I need an anti-air confirm. I need to understand how I air-to-air super dash. I need to have at least one mix-up I can start with and I can build up from there, right? They build up from a certain point that way. And one of the things Jonathan clearly knew he needed to learn was happy birthday combos, and it paid off here. This character hasn't even been released yet. And in the limited amount of time that Apology Man and Jonathan had to learn this character just for the showcase, he's already prioritized a common situation that is going to really win him some games or give him an edge. And look how far ahead Jonathan is. Now, Piccolo hasn't gotten to play this game, and instantly we have to back up again because look at what's going on. Orbs are coming out. He's using Piccolo assist already. This neutral instantly got like unbearably bad for Apology Man because he just KO'd Piccolo, and now he's able to just win neutral so easily. So he tosses out an assist, he tosses out his own assist while he summons Piccolo orb to protect Piccolo, and now there's two orbs coming out, key blast showering the whole screen, another orb coming, Broly assist coming, so much stuff that Apology Man's gonna have to do something. He's gonna have to super dash at some point. How do you get out of this? He hard tags. And you can't hard tag against the Super Broly because he has upper body invincible reactable super dash options, you know? He doesn't quite get the combo there because, you know, he's new to the character, but oh my goodness. You know, this is what I'm talking about. He just can cover the whole screen, and he has counterplay to your options that you have to use to get around those. I feel like maybe a little bit of a broken record because I just can't let go how good that is. Now, Dodon Ray, I love that Dodon Ray buff from Tien. That is an amazing buff for him. Jonathan's kind of running away with this game, but he doesn't have Spark, and Apology Man has like a ton of meter. This level 3 is super good, by the way. It does pretty good damage, and it is, I believe, plus 42 on knockdown. They were able to show that in the showcase at one point. So he has a lot of time to go for mix-ups, although I think all he does is try to summon Piccolo. Seems like he messed up the situation there a little bit, you know. New with the character, don't worry about it. Apology Man's able to get the hit, and also tries to swap into his own baby. This is a character that's going to have much better neutral at this point than Tien probably. Gets the level 3 knockdown. Let's see what he does with it. Actually, all he does is back off and toss out a Ki Blast, but because he was airborne, it sucks him over Apology Man when he blocks it and ends up getting 50-50 basically in a scramble. Now, Android 21's turn to try and fight this character. How do you fight this character in neutral? I imagine you just get the hit and like run with it. Good confirm. Gets that sliding knockdown from pretty much any hit that we were talking about. Gets in with the Dodon Ray. Jonathan's defense is super good, but there's a lot of stuff happening that we just aren't used to seeing as fighting game players right now. So Jonathan is going to get opened up here. Level 3 knockdown once again. Now what's the Oki? So he just locks down. He actually summons a dead Super Baby as Super Baby. It's like the don't talk to me or myself or me or my son meme. Goes for high-low mix-up. And this is actually what I was talking about earlier, where you can use this Ki Blast, this forward Ki Blast. Sorry, I keep going back. And you can cancel it into a special attack. So we see forward Ki Blast, cancels into the dive, and now the Ki Blast is still going to come back. So 21 has to respect here. And he's able to reset his turn. Goes for kind of a weird scrambly Dragon Rush. Jonathan's a god, so he teched it. And Jonathan just has to defend. He's like, he can't even play the game. I'm sure as we get used to dealing with this character, God, Jonathan's defense is amazing. I would not have blocked that cross up. As we get used to the game, and as we get used to this character being out, we are going to deal with him a little bit better, right? We are going to find better places to fight out on defense, but damn, like this character, even though his mix-up isn't amazing 50-50s as soon as he makes you block, he makes you block for a while. He gets in all the time. Look at the angle on this Ki Blast, by the way. So this is Broly, who's got Ki Blast so you can angle upwards. But there's still an angle where he can't quite hit you if you can get above him. So Super Baby's Ki Blasts work at this angle. This is an angle where if Broly shot straight upwards, it wouldn't hit Super Baby. But Super Baby can hit him, which is really good. In this matchup, that's probably like a godsend, you know? Sliding knockdown. Decent corner carry. He doesn't actually go for like a traditional meaty after the sliding knockdown. What he does instead is he just tosses out the mixer with the Ki Blasts that are going to come back and lock down. So he chooses basically to just win neutral super hard instead of press his advantage. Because you don't really want to press your advantage in this situation. If Broly like EX lariated, he's got 7 bars, you're dead. So instead he just chooses to kind of take his turn and run with it. Although, sorry about the weird pausing there. This angle, it's just so hard for Broly to do anything. You might be wondering, why isn't he super dashing more? It's basically exactly what we covered earlier, where he has such good anti-super dash tools that they, like Apology Man was talking in the showcase about how, yeah, we just stopped super dashing at each other because we couldn't. Because this was such a good anti-super dash tool, we didn't feel like it was a consistent option. We had to really limit how often we did it. So Jonathan's playing it super patient here and just getting smacked by these Ki Blasts once in a while. Doesn't quite get the punish on the reflect there. That's unfortunate, and doesn't quite get the Dragon Rush tag. And that's the game. So this character's just so sick. I cannot wait to get my hands on him. I cannot wait to play him. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that he's broken, but his neutral is amazing. If this character had super good mix-up, he would be broken. I'm just going to say that right now. So if you're someone who feels the need to have a 50-50 when you get in, or you don't think the character's good, I understand if this character isn't for you. But for everyone else who's willing to pressure the opponent, bait defensive options, and go for things like left-right mix-up, this character is absolutely amazing. And look at this win screen. I love this. This character is super duper sick. Okie dokie. So I feel like I've just been like on a Dragon Ball high today. This has been a little too cool for me. Hopefully this video got you guys excited about the character, and I hope you guys maybe now have a better idea of how this character could possibly play the game, give you some ideas of things that you want to try out when you have him. There's so much room for this character to be developed, especially when it comes to things like combos and pressure, because of how all these ki blasts can be used and how you can reset your turn. I think some of the combo-based channels on YouTube here are going to have a field day with this character, so I would look around for some of the amazing stuff they're probably going to be putting out within the next week. And again, I just really want to shill for this showcase. This showcase is absolutely amazing. I would not be able to make this video as in-depth as it is if not for this showcase. So again, amazing job to everyone involved. Damascus, Tyrant, Apology Man, Jonathan 10A, and anyone behind the scenes that I'm not seeing here that was involved. Thank you guys so much for doing this. Please do this again. Now that we're at the end of the video, I do want to really quickly shout out the fact that we have a Discord now. I'm going to put the link down below. I'm going to try and put it on my Twitch stream as well. If you are interested in being part of a community of people who are trying to improve at the game, and also if you want to stay up to date on when I go live, when we have videos going up, things like that, consider hopping in the Discord. I hope it can be a really good place for all of us to have a good time talking about the game and improving together. So if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and consider subscribing to the channel or leave a comment down below. I'd really appreciate it. This character is coming out later this week, so I will absolutely be making a beginner's guide to playing him as soon as I can, so look out for that. There's plenty more on the way soon. Thanks for watching.